Pitching, defense, and timely hitting. The Cardinals pull off the trifecta once again to take down the Padres on Tuesday. This is Locked on Cardinals.
You are Locked on Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked on Cardinals, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter, X at JD Sports Radio. You can follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked on Cardinals your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. That's right, I said free. Also free on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment when you stop by. Interact with us. Don't be shy. Hit that notification button so you know when the new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. So if you're watching on YouTube today, you will notice that I am wearing my 1980s Whitey Herzog-esque jacket today. A little cool out, but also because the Cardinals did some things last night that reminded me a little bit about those 80s teams, doing some things with the pitching, the defense, manufacturing runs. It was a lot of fun to watch last night. So let's get into this. We'll start with the pitching part of this. After the Cardinals inked Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn, we all kind of wondered, what was it about these particular guys that were attractive to the front office? And we got a couple of different answers, right? You know, they wanted to be in St. Louis was part of it. Normally, healthy guys you can count on to throw a lot of innings to take the burden off the bullpen, which was a huge problem in 2023. And those innings would lead to a thing we call quality starts. And this is where things got very interesting because as bad as the Cardinals were in 2023, there was something that would happen when they would get a quality start that allowed them to win ball games. When they got a quality start from their pitcher, they were a winning ball club, a very good ball club. In fact, they would go 33-15 last year when they got a quality start from one of their starters. That's a .687 winning percentage for those of you who aren't good at math. I'm not a good math person by any means. I'm not a mathematician, but even though I know that's good. I know that's good. .687. Just to put it in perspective, the Braves, who were amazing last year, won a league-high 104 games at a .642 winning percentage. So that's how different things were for the Cardinals last year when they would get a quality start from whoever it is who got the ball to begin the game. So getting innings, getting quality starts, that was kind of the target of the front office. They got that from Kyle Gibson on Monday, and they got it again last night from the Lizard King himself, Miles Mikolas. Now, a lot of people were spitting some venom in Miles' direction after his start on opening day. He didn't look great. He admits that. He was very hittable, gave up some dingers, didn't go deep in the game. Basically a rerun of what happened to most of the starters last year. But again, the Dodgers are kind of awesome. They won again last night over the Giants. So it's kind of hard to judge anything that the Cardinals did in that series and be disappointed in them when you're starting to realize how good LA really is. So all eyes were on Miles on Tuesday night. Can he bounce back in his second start of the season? Will we see anything different? Or will it be the same old against San Diego? The one thing we just have to accept about Miles Mikolas, though, and we need to just get over it, is that teams are going to get hits off him no matter what. All right. I know he's had a game or two here and there where, you know, he has shut people down. But for the most part, if it's going to be a decent offense they face that day or night, it's inevitable. He's going to give up hits. And it's because he's around the zone so much that guys are going to put the bat on the ball even more against him. And when that happens, the more times you put it in play, the more times things are going to fall in and grounders are going to find holes. Sure, Miles will pick up some strikeouts here and there, but it really is for him to be an effective pitcher. It's up to the pinpoint accuracy that he offers, being able to change speeds. That's how he's going to get guys out. He genuinely is a pitcher. He's not a thrower out there. And being that type of pitcher will lead to a lot of hits. It just is what it is. And you have to accept it and you have to get over it. But Miles was able to do what he normally does well in games that he's going to actually win. Avoid that big inning. He avoids the big inning. Tonight, he scatters 7 hits over 6 innings. 7 hits, you're like, gosh, that's a lot, right? Yeah, but when they only amount to 2 runs and none of them go flying over the wall, that's good. And that's what happened last night. He strikes out 4. And yes, for those of you counting at home, that would be another quality start for the rotation. Back-to-back quality starts to be exact. And guess what? Cardinals are 2-0. Cardinals are 2-0 in those games. See? Stats are working. Another thing about a guy like Miles and Gibson and Lynn at this stage in their careers is that if hitters are going to put the ball in play more against them, which is going to happen, then the defense behind them has got to be rock solid. And so far here in 2024, they have been. They've been very impressive. And I want to delve into that a little bit more. Plus, we'll get to the small ball stuff that happened last night that had Cardinals fans everywhere grinning from ear to ear. This is Locked On Cardinals. Baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks entries, whether it's strikeouts, which Miles Mikolas doesn't get a lot of, so hopefully you bet the under in most of that. RBIs or first inning runs, that's a thing too. You can take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks entry today. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks. NBA going to be in the postseason. You've obviously had your fill with the NCAA tournament, which has been going on. We're to the Final Four there. My personal favorite aspect about PrizePicks, and I'll continue to repeat this because it is my favorite thing, and it's no joke, how quick and how simple it is to play. You know, there's not a lot of running around on the app trying to figure out what am I supposed to do next? How do I get to this part? What do I do to place a bet? No, it's simple. You can make your picks, just submit an entry, and you can do it all in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. And you know what else is quick? When you win, you get your money back right away. They don't go, okay, we'll get that to you in 3 or 4 days. No. That's my money now. That's my money now. Give it to me. So they make that very simple. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, an enormous selection of players and stat types, and that's what makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So download this app today. Do it. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Don't miss out on your chance to cash in on all your sports knowledge because we got a lot going on right now. This is one of the most exciting times of the year because you got NHL coming down the stretch. You've got the NBA getting ready for the postseason as well. You've got Major League Baseball underway. March Madness in full swing. We're coming to the end of that. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. Are you watching Fox Sports on ESPN on your TV all day and have to turn that volume down because of the shouting? Then make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, where you don't have to deal with such things. A free 24/7 sports streaming channel. It's programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all of that annoying screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Perhaps you're a fan of the Buffalo Bills. Big news today. Stephon Diggs just got traded to the Houston Texans. Pretty wild stuff. So that'll be up there on our free 24/7 sports streaming channel, Locked On Sports Today. Thank you guys for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. You can leave your comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter X anytime you want. That feedback always welcome and encouraged. Again, thank you to everyone who stayed up late with me the last couple of nights, going back and forth, talking about the Cardinals game. We got an afternoon one today, so we'll be online for that as well. The Cardinals, at least since I've been on this earth, have been able to count on their defense as one of those pillars that makes the St. Louis Cardinals franchise a successful franchise. Okay. For years, we've had fantastic guys on defense. You know, I grew up watching the 80s Cardinals and huge huge Ozzie Smith fan. It has been my favorite Cardinal since I was itty bitty. I got an autograph thing from him over here. One of my most prized possessions. I loved the Wizard, still love the Wizard. And, with him on the field, you also had guys like Terry Pendleton and Willie McGee and Keith Hernandez. Tommy Herr, although I don't think he ever won a Gold Glove, was just rock solid. Like that double play duo of Ozzie and Tommy was incredible. And night after night, they would put on a show defensively, and it was tough to score runs against them. Before them, Bob Gibson, 9-time Gold Glove winner. You had Ken Boyer won 5, Kurt Flood won 7, Bill White had 6. And after the 80s, you had a ton of other guys who were elite position players. At catcher alone, of course, Yadier Molina, one of the best to ever do it. But Tom Pagnozzi, Pags won a couple of Gold Gloves. Mike Matheny, he was awesome. Stud defensive catchers. 15 Gold Gloves between those three. Albert Pujols, Fernando Vina, Colton Wong, Scott Rowland, Edgar Renteria, Jimmy Edmonds, and then Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill, Harrison Bader, Tommy Edman, Brendan Donovan, Adam Wainwright. The list goes on and on and on, man. The Cardinals have been dripping in Gold Gloves for decades, and we've been pretty spoiled as a fan base to see such a fine display of leather over the years. So in last year, when they become one of the worst defensive teams in the league, even with a bunch of these Gold Glove winners still on the roster, it's not like they all went away and we started over. No, just everybody just kind of played like crap last year on defense. People were concerned. We're like, well, what? This isn't normal for us. Because knowing the staff that they had, the pitching staff, and now the new guys they were bringing in, if this defense didn't bounce back and become a good defense again, the Cardinals were going to be in some real trouble. And I know it's early in the season. It could all go sideways still. I get that. But so far, first 6 games, they're passing the test. First hitter of the game for the Padres last night, Xander Bogaerts. Hits a flare into left field. Look who's there. Michael Ciani. Diving catch. Sets the tone for the defense, which, by the way, still has not made an error through the first 6 games of the season. They're one of only 3 teams who haven't made one yet. The Braves and the Nationals are the other 2. And they're second in the league because they've been getting these double plays, which have been huge for the team, for the pitching staff. They're second in the league in double plays. They've turned 8 so far, trailing only the Astros, who have 9. This is the type of Cardinals defense that we are used to seeing. The last couple of days has been the type of Cardinal baseball that we are used to seeing, which has brought wins. And it's been a whole lot of fun to watch. And as great as it is to make spectacular catches, we've seen a few of them. Ciani last night, Donovan's made a couple, Jordan Walker in right field. You've been seeing these plays. It's the routine plays that have to be made for the Cardinals to be successful. Last year, they're kicking it and throwing it all over the place. It was a mess. But this year, it's been a different story. Nolan Arenado looks healthy, looks like himself over there at the hot corner. Mason Wynn and Nolan Gorman, they've been fantastic up the middle so far. Mason Wynn has been a difference maker at shortstop. Like, he looks incredible over there. Goldie, steady as always over at first base, doesn't get as much love as he probably deserves. Victor Scott may not be hitting quite as much as you were hoping at the plate, but he's tracking down everything in center field and looks so smooth out there doing it. Donovan and Walker have made amazing plays in the outfield, as I mentioned. Ciani, obviously, good defensive player. And I love how, as I told you they would, that Ollie has been deploying him when he's not starting, which he got to start last night, but they've been deploying him into right field later in games for Walker. So just to make sure that they got the best defensive lineup they can to be out there while still missing Tommy Edman, who's a Gold Glove winner, and Lars Nootbaar, who we know is very good. Dylan Carlson, solid in the outfield. So they're missing a lot of really good pieces, but yet they've got these guys stepping up and just doing great. I like how everybody's been using hashtag hands team. Kind of, if you're a football fan, like when somebody's doing an onside kick, and they bring out the hands team to get out there in that front line to catch it and make sure that the other team doesn't get their hands on it. And that's what they're calling it late in games when they're moving people around, and Ciani's coming in, and Donovan went to left last night. They brought Gorman in at second base. And it's just to make sure that here at the end of the games, they've got the best defensive team out there that they can possibly field at the moment. So they're not hurting themselves. They're not shooting themselves in the foot with shabby defensive play, and that's been huge for the first 6 games of this season. Willson Contreras. How about we give some credit to Willson Contreras? I know we all think about offense when it comes to Willie, but gosh, he's looked a lot better behind the plate with the framing. Like, you can see the progress that he has made from last year and spring training into this year. I mean, he looks fantastic back there. And I was just curious because some of the catching stats and stuff, I'm not even sure where you find this stuff, but I'm glad John Denton at MLB.com dropped this nugget. Among catchers who had caught 60 borderline pitches going into Tuesday, Contreras' 54 strikes in 100 instances are first in baseball. So the eye test where you're like, man, Willie does kind of look good back there. It's real. It's real. He's better. He is good back there. And of course, his ability to call games along with the pitchers has vastly improved. I mean, we're from last year where pitchers are accusing him of calling pitches that he doesn't even throw to maybe moving him to left field. And now here we are where so far this season, he's been one of the best framers behind the plate. Defensively, he's looked good. The arms look great. And he's getting along with his pitching staff. And Miles Mikolas raved about him after the game last night about how he's calling games. And when the battery is cohesive and the defense is strong, this Cardinals team can have a lot of success. Now, of course, you need offense to complete the game plan. You got to score runs. And the Cardinals, who look lost against the Dodgers starting rotation, have been able to manufacture some runs recently. They face Yu Darvish on Tuesday night. Yu Darvish is really good. Like, I thought it was funny that people were like, oh, here we go. Cardinals can't hit again. What do you mean? Yu Darvish is one of the best pitchers in the National League. Like, shut up. You got to be kidding me with this stuff. Like, it's embarrassing when people make these kind of comments. So it wasn't going to be easy last night. You knew that going into it. Yu Darvish is the ace of the Padres staff. You've got him. You got Dylan Cease now. But you would list Yu Darvish as their number one. But in the third inning, a trio of rookies got this whole thing going. Did the basic things right. And this is the area where it reminded me of the Whitey Herzog era, which is why I got this jacket on. Because it was the small ball type of stuff that got the birds on the board. Rookie Victor Scott laces a shot into the right center gap. Easy double, right? No. You've got Gold Glove right fielder Fernando Tatis Jr. over there. He cuts it off. The dude made a couple of really slick plays in the gap last night, man. You can see why Tatis Jr. got that Gold Glove last year. He's got a great arm as well. And only someone with Victor Scott's speed could have turned that into a successful double, which he was able to do. Tatis made it very, very close. Like, it was an awesome play by him in right center, but Victor Scott just, speed doesn't take a day off, and it did not there, which was nice to see as he slides into second base, gets there despite that great effort by Tatis. So next batter, you got Michael Ciani. Not a great offensive player by any means. We know that. He knows that. Ollie knows that. So what does he do? Has him lay down the sacrifice bunt, moves Victor Scott over to third base, which brings up another rookie. And by the way, Michael Ciani is listed as a rookie again this year. And that brings up another rookie in Mason Wynn, who rips the second pitch he sees into left field, 102.4 off the bat. A missile. And it just happened to be almost right at the left fielder. Any lift at all, and that ball's in the seats. That's a dinger. But it gets the job done. Sack fly. Cardinals tie it up 1-1. The old saying is, you get them on, get them over, get them in. Perfect execution by 3 rookies, and it led to a run. It was beautiful to see. Later in the game, I was a little surprised they didn't actually try that same formula when Jordan Walker had that leadoff double, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's go to the 6th inning. 1 out, Brendan Donovan, who looks locked in right now, has an outstanding at-bat against Darvish, who hadn't thrown a lot of pitches. The Cardinals were trying to jump on him with some of those first pitch strikes he was trying to get across. Donovan falls behind in the count 0-2, comes all the way back, 8-pitch at-bat, earns the walk. Magnificent stuff. Goldie then strikes out again. He's got 9 of those already this season. Okay, I know we're giving Nolan Gorman a rough time for all the strikeouts he's been doing. Paul Goldschmidt's striking out a lot, man. I don't know what's going on with Goldie, but hopefully he gets it figured out here soon. Put the ball in play. is usually a normal thing for Goldie, and he's not doing that a lot. But in comes Willson Contreras. Here comes our hero, and he smokes a splitter that hung in the zone just a little too long. Wasn't a horrible pitch by any means, but Willie recognized it and bashes it over the center field boards. 2-run shot gives the Cardinals a 3-2 lead. 106.7 off the bat, 420 feet away, almost in the same spot that he hit the home run the previous night, which was like a 419-foot shot. Then in the 7th inning, this is when the bunt situation I thought was an obvious call, but it didn't happen. Jordan Walker leads off with a double, which brings up Victor Scott, who's the fastest player on the roster. He's an accomplished bunter, but instead, they let him swing away. I didn't understand that part. He strikes out. Then Michael Ciani's up. You're not going to bunt with one out probably, so he gets a chance to swing away. He strikes out, and then Mason Wynn flies out, and the inning's over. Threat's over. So not sure why they weren't bunting there with a 1-run lead because it was 3-2 at that time. So a questionable call there for sure. Wasn't all on board with what happened there. But then in the 8th inning, the Cardinals got to Padres import reliever Yuki Matsui. Donovan leads off with a single again. The table setter, Brendan Donovan. Goldie works a walk, and that's when we saw the return of Villain Willie. You remember that guy, right? Remember him in Boston last year? Had Red Sox reliever Kenley Jansen's mind in a blender by keeping his foot out of the box until he had to be in there. Jansen didn't know exactly what the rules were, so he kept coming to a set, and then eventually, after getting warned, ended up forcing a couple of balls to be called against the Red Sox closer, and ultimately he ends up blowing the game. Same idea kind of happened here. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Here comes Villain Willie, knowing that Yuki Matsui, new guy to the league, maybe doesn't get all the rules so far, and gets Matsui charged with a ball due to a pitch clock violation after Contreras kind of threw his timing off by keeping that foot out of the box, kind of messing with him a little bit. That throws off Matsui's rhythm, and he eventually walks Contreras, which loads the bases with nobody out. Villain Willie, the mind freak himself, gets another one. Then comes the most bizarre play of the game. I'm going to break that down for you next on Locked On Cardinals. You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy your tickets for all the sports, the music, comedy, and theater near you. I know concert season's coming up, man. I'm excited about it. I'm getting in the mood to go see some of my favorite rock bands and metal shows. Maybe I'll get out to a country show this year. I've still never been to one in my entire life, but the wife consistently says you would have a good time. I promise you. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get one of those big old 10-gallon hats, the big ones that Cowboys wear. Anyway, Gametime. It's got killer last-minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and your best price guarantee. They take the guesswork out of buying tickets. One of my favorite things to do is those last-minute ticket deals because, you know, when you try to get tickets in advance, you know, you're getting people who are selling them, you know, supply and demand. So you're getting the very expensive ones a few days out. And then as you get closer to game time, some of these guys start selling their tickets for cheaper. They're like, wait a minute, I gotta get these out of here. Or some people decide they can't make the event, whatever game, whatever the concert is, whatever, and they like, boom, sell them for cheap. And that's where those killer last minute deals come into play. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. For a limited time, all users can get $20 off any MLB purchase of $150 or more in the Gametime app with code FIRSTPITCH. Cardinals home opener. I heard them say last night, couple of tickets still remaining. Might want to check out that Gametime app because there are some tickets available on there. Now, terms do apply. That's code FIRSTPITCH, FIRSTPITCH for $20 off until April 14th only. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. So we're in the top of the 8th inning here. The Cards are up 3-2. They got the bases juiced. Nobody out. Best guy in the world to come up, right? Nolan Arenado coming to the plate, chance to really break things open. And Nato unloads on a ball that hits the ground 3 feet in front of home plate. Yeah, 3 feet. Got on top of a changeup, which was low in the zone, got fooled a little bit, and it dribbles down to the third baseman. And he's playing in, is able to make like a shovel pass to the catcher. And it appears that Brendan Donovan is going to be out of the play. Big chance missed right here, huh? But he's called safe. What? Safe? Wait, what happened? And then you realize when they show the replay that the catcher never had his foot on the plate. Never had it on the plate. Would have been out, but Campusano had his foot a couple of inches, like 4 or 5 inches in front of the plate. Home plate umpire, although he had a kind of a tough game behind the plate last night, he saw this, that's for sure, and it worked out for the Cardinals. Donnie hustling all the way. He scores the run on the fielder's choice, makes it 4-2, a very demoralizing play for the Padres, but exhilarating for the Cardinals. I got a tweet from someone during the game last night after this play happened, and I couldn't agree more with them. It was plays like that went against the Cardinals last year. Like, the roles would have been reversed. That had been something that happened to the Cardinals last year. Instead, it goes in favor of them. And if it was still the same way where the Cardinals were on offense, Donnie would have been out. It'd have been a bad call. Donnie would have been out, probably rolled his ankle and missed a couple of weeks in 2023. It would have been a disaster. But this time it goes the Cardinals' way. We enjoy that. Then Ali pinch hits rookie Ivan Herrera for Burleson, who hits a sac fly to center to bring in Goldie, making it 5-2. Another manufactured run, taking some walks, making the pitchers work a little bit, getting guys over, hitting sac flies. Like, that's baseball, man. Like, relying on the 3-run shot and having to deal with a bunch of strikeouts, that is not fun baseball to watch. And it happens to the Cardinals a lot, at least it did last year, where they'd come up in these situations, they strike out, something stupid happens, Hittins do a double play, innings over, and everybody's hanging their heads. But this time they got the job done. They push 2 more runs across the plate. Bullpen trio of Giovanni Gallegos, Andrew Kittredge, and Ryan Helsley close things out. Gallegos had us a little bit sweaty there in the 7th inning, but got a big double play ball. Kittredge, magnificent again, 3 outs and just 7 pitches. Does that dude even sweat? Does Andrew Kittredge even sweat? Is he like Marky Mark's character in Daddy's Home, where he just doesn't sweat? Like, the guy is just so calm and relaxed out there. It's awesome. It's awesome. I love this dude. And then Helsley, he gave off that leadoff single, but then whiffs the next 2 before getting Bogarts to pop out. Game, set, match. Cards win at 5-2 and are now beaming with confidence. You can see it in their faces and in the way that their body language is right now. They're beaming with confidence after winning 3 of their last 4. Could have won 4 in a row. Got a chance to make it a winning road trip today. After that rough start in LA, they can make this a winning road trip today as they go for the sweep. A couple of injury updates real quick. Lars Nootbaar hitless in his 3 at-bats in his first rehab game for AAA Memphis. They were in Indy on Tuesday night, had an RBI and a run scored. He's expected to be the DH in today's game for Memphis. Mother Nature continues to be a problem and just be straight up rude to Sonny Gray because of the forecast calling for rain today in Indianapolis. Sonny Gray's scheduled start, it got moved. He will now pitch a simulated game against the AA Cardinals in Springfield and will then make a rehab start next week in Memphis, weather pending. Come on, Mother Nature. We're trying to get our Sonny back. Seems like every time he's set to do anything on a mound, rain gets in the way. And it's kind of been a pain in the butt so far. But I don't know. Maybe it's Mother Nature saying, hey, take it easy. Take it easy. Take it slow. He's coming back. But either way, he continues to make progress, and so does Lars. So that's great news. Cardinals and Padres today. Lefty Zach Thompson on the bump for the Cardinals against Joe Musgrove for San Diego. First pitch going to be at 3:10 St. Louis time. All right, thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter, X, at @LO_Cardinals, and at JD Sports Radio. Like I said, during the games, I'm right there with you the whole time. Any feedback you want to give me, you angry about something, you happy about something, let me know. We're on there together. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Help our channel and our love for the Cardinals grow. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals. Let's get that sweep.